Now, in terms of delivering a broadcast-like streaming experience, I mean, we're all used to wonderful quality television, including on satellite and HD, and we need to presumably get online content up to similar levels. I mean, Julien, do you, first of all, is it a surprise that linear is becoming so important for multi-screen? Because it began with on-demand, really. We used to talk about on-demand as the dominant model for online.
No, I mean, I think that, like it was said, people are very attracted to live. They're attracted to live because of sports events, news, but also just general switching of channels and flipping channels to see what's going on. And so I think that experience that is predominant on the TV, the same is happening on the iPad, on the tablets, on the smartphones. So people are very naturally interested in having live, and I think to your point before, the fact to have everything in one place is also a very convenient, a really good value for the customer, for the consumers that want to have access to all the content they like in one place, whether it's on their tablets or on their TV. So I think that's not surprising to me that live is very important, because it is what is the majority of the traffic on TV today.
And I mean, you mentioned the TV. I mean, is it important that online services land on the TV as well, especially when we talk about linear?
Well, yes. I mean, when mobile TV started, and we were pioneering mobile TV back in 2004, 2005 with 3G phones, people thought that they were going to edit some short-form content. Since then, big screens have happened, broadband has happened, you can have very high-quality user experience on mobile devices, and people fundamentally like certain types of content. They want to access the same type, whether I'm a soccer fan or football fan, or a Formula One fan, or I'd like to watch the news at certain times, or a particular show, whether on my iPad or my living room TV, it's the same really experience in a different device. And so I think we want to certainly promote that vision that any content can be available on any device.
Okay, Richard, obviously you've got live sports, Sky Sports. I mean, it really is the crown jewels in terms of sport in the UK. I mean, what are the challenges when you're delivering that online streaming video, and especially even when you get onto a widescreen TV?
Yeah, I mean, at the most simple level, when you look at Sky's satellite service, that is an end-to-end chain that Sky's pretty much designed, everything from what's happening at the head end down to the set-top box. When it comes to delivering over the top, then you've got so many different areas where there could be potential issues, and you also don't have a huge idea about what devices you're about to hit. So you have to cater for a lot more variables than you do on traditional broadcasting. So making sure as well that you monitor everything that's happening throughout that end-to-end chain is absolutely crucial, because when you start to get any significant buffering, if you start to have the picture quality dropping, then it's easy to lose customers. I mean, all the research shows that depending on the amount of buffering you get, not only will you lose a customer for that day, you may lose them indefinitely.
So how do you do that? I mean, in sort of layman's terms, how do you monitor that and keep track of it?
So we use a tool called Envivio, and that gives us a lot of detail about what is actually happening, and that breaks down on individual devices, ISPs, CDNs, and so on. At the other side of that, we work very closely with Envivio on the encoder side to make sure that the quality of streams that we're delivering are as good as they can be, regardless of what bit rate you're getting. So we're actually in a scenario where we have to say, okay, if things aren't going particularly well for you, we will give you the best possible experience that we can. And that's, that literally goes all the way back to the source, where you could say, okay, we've got to make sure that the best quality source is going into your encoder. So there are so many different things that can happen, and you have to look at each individual part to make sure that the customer at the end of the day gets the best experience that they can possibly get at that time.
Okay, I mean, what are the bitrate options that you currently offer if we talk about sports, for example?
Yeah, when you're looking at sports, because it's primarily in standard definition, the top rate, it's about the 2.5 megabit rate. Obviously, we could start to increase that, but whenever you start to increase the bit rate, you start to get to the chance that the customer might not be able to maintain that bit rate. So there is a balancing act to always be played out. Because you could easily say, hey, we're going to stick 10 megabits down there, but very few people would maintain that quality. It would look beautiful, but it wouldn't work. So it is definitely a balancing act.
And can you get an HD-like experience at 2.5 on a television?
Well, That's the thing about compression. Compression's always getting better. I would say at 2.5 on a, say a 55-inch TV, it's going to be challenging to do it at 2.5 megabits right now. That's not to say that isn't going to change. You do need to go higher than that to get HD-like experiences. And there are other areas that you need to look at. You need to make sure that it's not just about the bit rate, it's making sure that the actual delivery chain that gets it there, so that network chain, which ISP, which CDN you're going with, there are lots of different options. And so when you look at it, it's not just about bit rate, it's about making sure that you've tuned it to the best possible rate so that you get the best possible picture on that screen at that time.
Okay, well, we'll talk about HEVC in a moment, but would that enable HD quality in those kind of bit rates, do you think?
I think it will get in that direction. I'm still working with the various researchers to see how far HEVC will improve things, but of course you've got to have devices that can decode HEVC, and there's not so many of those on the market right now.
Okay, I mean in terms of beyond the video, what else do we need to think about? If we want to sort of replicate the broadcast quality user experience online, what other things do we need to think about?
I tend to focus on, as I say, the IP delivery chain. So I look at making sure that it's going to be items like making sure the frame rate is as high as it can be to give a TV-like experience. Making sure that you're not significantly behind the traditional broadcast. That's another area, because obviously you're encoding and it's a different set of encoders, and making sure that you've got that sort of sync going on is also very important. So you are literally trying to create that TV-like experience in the home, but not via TV-based technology. So when you have an Xbox or any other device connected up, you have to deal with the relative merits of each type of device, and that can be a little bit tricky.
Okay, and Julien, just looking at the market generally, is audio increasingly important for online video?
Well, I think audio is always a very important factor of quality. So certainly we focus on both audio and video. I mean, it's part of the experience. And like was said, compression is making progress, and screens are making progress too. So mobile devices have higher and higher resolution screens, even maybe higher than your HD plasma TV today. And so we do need to continue to drive compression, and obviously bandwidth is increasing as well. So, I completely agree with the comment, which is that our job is to make sure at the technology level that we can provide the best possible quality, whatever is the device and whatever is the network condition. So that's why that's very much a design of our product, is to think through and make it as easy as possible for operators like Sky to take our product and tailor the service to the target devices and the target networks to be able to make sure that consumers get the very best possible experience, which is not always HD. It depends on what network they are on. It depends what device they have. And that's why it's so complex. It's that complexity of going from a single set-top box-based service where you control the environment to an uncontrolled environment. That's why you need a flexible product that can tailor the video to all these flavors that are out there.
I'll just add to that as well. You mentioned sound earlier on. Yeah. And I've seen various research that shows that you could have exactly the same video being played out, but if the sound quality isn't as good, the perception of the video quality actually drops. So it is creating that 60 degree experience, because it has to be an even effect, an even experience. Because I say every time we test people, they say no, the sound actually makes the picture quality look worse.